You may be wondering why you clicked on this video when there are thousands of other tutorials that are likely better than this, but I don't care. So, step one of this modding guide is go get Prism Launcher. Link. This is obviously for Windows as the guide, but if you have anything that isn't Windows, you go to whatever the hell you're using. For me, I'm using Windows 11, so I'm gonna install it on Windows 64-bit, and then I obviously double-click the installer. Click Next. If you want a desktop shortcut, which I recommend, click that. Click and check the box. Click Next. Click Install. Wait for it to install. Shouldn't take too long, unless Microsoft decides to throw me some bullshit once again. I swear I have this. But yeah, just wait for Prism to eventually install itself, along with Microsoft doing its thing, and then click. Make sure you don't uncheck this Run Prism Launcher, and then finish. Hello? It's gonna work. Oh yeah, so ignore that. As you can see, I already had it installed previously, but what you're gonna do next is go into the Prism Launcher settings. Make sure, well, this first part doesn't matter, it's the user interface and whatever, but we're gonna go to the Java section of this video. Disable auto download Mojang Java, as it is completely useless. Make sure these three are checked, and don't worry about this right now. And don't worry about this. After that's done, you exit that. Now, we're going to set up your very first instance. Click on Add Instance. Make sure it's in a group, or if you really care about that. Name, I'm just going to call it Video Test. I already fucked up. Alright, so add instance, no group. Obviously, I'm not going to change the name. It's 1.20, 1.8. But we go to Fabric. You're going to want to click the latest version of the Fabric mod loader. Then, after you have your selected Minecraft version, your Fabric version, click OK. And now, click Edit. Next, we are going to open our browser again. And now we're going to download GraalVM, a legendary piece of software. You may think of Java and think of, oh, Oracle, oh my god, but this is different. This is lightweight. Sure, it's owned by them, made by them, but it's better. It runs better and has some neat little features, which we're going to utilize in a little bit. Make sure you have Java 24 selected and your current operating system that you are using. I'm using Windows, so I'm going to click Download. After that, just gotta wait on this. We can officially exit our browser. Open up your newly downloaded zip folder. Take this folder out. Wait for it to complete. Whenever that'll happen. I need a new PC. God damn it. Exit out of this zip folder. Open your file browser to find a place to put this new folder. I personally have a video example folder in this PC, local disk, and then program files, not the x86 one because I don't care about it. Now we go, and then you create a new folder, obviously with right click, new folder, and this is really, we'll get to that later. But then you put your GraalVM unzipped folder into this folder. Continue. You're going to need administrator privileges, and that's it for now. This is a zip that contains the contents, the rest of them, for this video. Obviously, you click extract. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Okay, extract all. The Windows one, because I'm lazy as hell, and okay, what the hell? Okay, I'm just going to drag to my desktop then. Now, extract all. Wow. Yeah. So, obviously, we're going to go back to Prism Launcher, close this out, and open to the Settings tab. This is already set up on my end, but if for the other video, the other people watching this, whoever that may be, click on the check mark right here. Click Browse, because you're not going to be downloading anything from Prism or auto-teching anything, really. Then you're going to go to local disk, program files, scroll all the way to wherever the folder is you made. Mine is video example, GraalVM. You want to go into, and here's where it gets a little more tricky. Not really, but you go to the bin folder. Scroll down until you find java w.exe. The extension may not be visible for you depending on your Windows settings, but it is java w in that case. Then click test. It should work. Next step is memory. You do not want to have any more than 4 gigabytes, but you don't want any less, otherwise it may lag. 4 gigabytes in megabytes, which is what this format is, 4096 megabytes. Now, the very next step, which is an important one because it will run a bit better, Java arguments, in other words, JVM arguments, which I have all written up right here in a nice little text file. Double click. I'm just gonna Control A, C, and paste. Test. See, that's working, which means none of these are incompatible. Because it's not like they aren't designed for this or anything, which they are. Now, we move on to mods. I have them all named and everything. These are basic thing. I have them named simply for the video's sake. They are all either performance related or just general quality of life. All should be allowed on most, if not all, servers that are vanilla. But if they are not, then what are you doing? But honestly, if it doesn't work with what I just showed, like drag and dropping them all after highlighting, just open the folder, drag and drop regardless, it'll load them up. Now these are their actual names that are not edited by me. That's done. Close out of this. And if you have any resource packs you specifically like, for example, me, I like using vanilla tweaks, so I'm just gonna drag that to my desktop then here because fucking Windows. Shaders, if you really care about those. Yeah, why not? I have 2 of them in here. One looks, it's my vibe. It's just pretty cool. So the other is vanilla AA. In other words, a TAA renderer for Minecraft, which is basically the AI thing, if you didn't know. In other words, you will be getting performance, but you'll also get input. You'll also get increased input latency and a little blurring here and there. Not everyone will like that, so only use it as a last resort. Now, all of this is done. We can officially launch the game. Let's see if all this works. It should. It says it's incompatible, but it should work just fine. As seen right here, it's working just fine. And next up, after all this is loaded, eventually, I will show you the next few steps in this process.
Press enter to enable the narrator.
Fuck off, narrator. No one cares. I really hate the narrator. I'm not going to enter full screen, but I am going to double click and expand regardless. I prefer Quake Pro. I'm a gamer. Come on. Fuck off music. Yeah, this all doesn't matter, but I'm going to lower it just because I don't want to blast my ears too much. First step, video settings. I don't want to donate. I am running at 165 hertz, but with Sodium, it goes in increments of 10. If you are running at, let's say, 165 like me, you set it to 170. VSync, turn that shit off. And if you are higher than 250 hertz display, you're going to use unlimited and generally run worse. View bobbing, I hate it. Doesn't really matter for performance, though. Next up is the resolution. Doesn't matter. You should leave it on default. TUI scale, set it to what you prefer. I'm going to set it to 3. Simulation distance. If you are playing on servers, it doesn't matter. Turn it to its lowest. It will use less memory if you turn it to the lowest. Next up, shadows. Disable it. Chunks, render distance. 10 is the general limit for most servers who have a larger distance rendering. Sure, you can cache it on your local machine if you set it higher, but on the server end, it will typically only allow 10 at the most. Brightness doesn't really matter. Quality. Yeah, you're going to want to turn the graphics to fast. Clouds, off. Cloud distance doesn't matter if they're already off. Weather, fast. Leaves, fast. Particles, all, because if you have some disabled, you're likely going to have a bad time on some servers. Smooth lighting, get rid of that shit. Biome blend, entity render distance, that affects things like mobs and even players, by the way. So, assuming you have a moderately powerful PC, do at least 300, but in my case, I will use 500%. Shadows, only useful if you're worried about things that are invisible. I'm not. This does not matter. It just generally makes it look worse, in my opinion. I'm turning it off. Distortion effects, I don't want a green overlay, so I'm leaving that as is. FOV effects, turning it off because I'm just going to be toggling sprint as is. Mipmaps, I personally like it. I personally will never turn this off, which is 0. I don't like 1, but 2 is generally where you can get away with it and improve your performance a little. Next up is the performance category. Disable all 4 of these settings. They are culling settings, and they can mess with some servers real bad. We go to advanced next, leave it as is. Animations, leave it as is, unless you really want to disable some pretty neat stuff. Particles, don't touch it unless you know what you're doing. Details, doesn't really matter. Render, fog can be disabled completely. Overlays, doesn't matter. Those, I don't like toasts. They take up screen space on the top right. I'm not a fan. Show FPS. Why not? Just for the video's sake, because it'll likely run at maximum performance. Monochrome logo. I don't like having my eyes bleach themselves every time I have to load something in. Sprint toggle, as I had stated. Damage tilt. You do not need a mod for these things anymore. Turn that off. Glint strength. I like it 100% because I can't let go of the past. Come on, guys. Resource packs. I showed that I had downloaded vanilla tweaks. I am showing off my tweaks now. But the final section, the most important section, mod config. Chat patches, general like chat config thing, timestamps, cool. Yeah, all this stuff. It doesn't matter what you do with that, really, as long as you have it done. This is full bright. Generally, it will improve performance slightly if you have it enabled, of which you can configure to your heart's content. Next is modern fix. How I have it on 1.28? 1.20, 1.8? Well, that's not important, but yeah, things that you might want to enable because it'll increase performance generally is dynamic resources, packet leak, which is pretty huge if you're playing for hours on end. And really, those are the big ones. Restart required. I'm not going to personally, but in a normal sense, you will need to regardless. Tooltip scroll is for scrolling tooltips, because why would you have that? I don't want to have a tooltip go off my screen. Zoom mod, Zoomify, good stuff. And the rest really doesn't matter that much. I think you can leave them that as is. And now, let's test this on something like Hypixel, yeah? Actually, I'm just gonna Hypixel.